outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. already know how I'm coming, man. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we tote all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Check it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right up the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see they start crumbling now. Mad struck start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look how it freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them doors on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. Then reload the clip and record the clip. It's go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Vitamin G podcast. It is your host, Pharaoh, and right now I'm solo. Let me see. Let me get this. Try to get this up real quick. All right, cool. So, we will have a panel. Zero's on the way. I'm pretty sure Jube will be here too. Oh, Nappy's in. There we go. No longer solo.
Yeah, just give me a minute. About to cam up right now. So
I think it's been about let me see, about 2 weeks since we last had a show. So hope everyone's doing well. It's been a lot that's happened since then. We had the Xbox earnings. Xbox had a show today. We had the Xbox VR news. Stellar Blade came out. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. So we got a lot of topics that I think we're all excited to talk about. Some of us have watched the whole Fallout series, so I'm sure that'll pop up in the What's on Your Mind portion of the show.
I didn't even get a chance.
Yeah, let's go ahead get my ugly mug off the screen, or not just do full screen anymore. Let me see. Hold up. Grid. That's what I need. Ooh. All right, and let's see. There we go. And yeah, Nappy, how you been? What you been playing?
I have been doing good mostly. So I have been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2.
Okay.
I learned what the Dragon Plague is. Had a rude awakening when your pawn goes crazy and kills everyone in town.
Okay.
So other than that, I'm damn near finally finished the review for the Big Big One Rainbow 2 controller, so that should be coming out soon. I have another controller, which the company Fly Digi, I reviewed a couple of their controllers. They have now come out with the Apex 4 controller, which, if you guys don't know, is an upgrade from the Apex 3 controller that had the vibrations or had the feedback on the triggers. And it looks like they added like these little tension screws where you can actually adjust the tightness of the joystick. So if you want a more stiff joysticks, you can get that. If you want looser joysticks, you can do that. And it looks pretty nice. Like it's still got of course, got the little LED screen on it, but the bird is gone, which rip the bird because I actually like the bird. And as far as mobile gaming, working on a lot of controller reviews. I think I got a dedicated gaming tablet. I got a thing called the Razer Edge. So this thing right here
Oh,
is
you got the
literally
phone.
no, it's not a phone.
Oh,
It's a tablet.
it's a tablet.
It's a gaming tablet.
Oh, that's pretty small.
Yeah. So what's cool about this is it comes with a Razer Kishi controller, which I already have the white one, so I have two Razer Kishi controllers. But yeah, so it's because of all the mobile gaming, I decided like let me give this a try. I saw that the one for Verizon, the Verizon tablet goes for $500 if you want service. If you don't want the service, you can get it for $400, but this is on sale for $300. And I decided to review this, even though I know that like there's a Nintendo Switch out there, $100 more, you can get a Steam Deck. I just something about this was like, you know what? Let me give this a try. Why the hell are these companies making an Android gaming tablet that literally just runs Android games? Like, what were they thinking? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think this is a bad thing. I don't regret this. I actually think this is pretty decent. It
Yeah,
it can play Fortnite, can play Call of Duty Warzone mobile very well. The one game that's been cooking everyone's phones. And I mean cooking. Even after they patch the game, that thing still cooks people's phones. It has a dedicated cooling fan to it. I just played a bunch of games on here. Great for streaming. Oh my god, when I'm in my house over Wi-Fi streaming games to here, it is great for that. And yeah, it's a regular everyday tablet with just made built for gaming. Also, it does have an SD card slot, so of course I stacked this thing with as many ROMs as possible from the sixth generation. So you know that PlayStation 2 Xbox and GameCube emulator. Woo, running greats on this thing. And this thing has a really, really good battery life. So I was going to post a review on this as to introduce myself into the mobile gaming scene as like, oh, this guy does use mobile controllers, so it's fun. It's fun, honestly. Does this replace Steam Deck stuff? It got some caveats, but I like it. It's not bad. I don't regret this at all. That's all I got.
okay. Yeah, I think we as gamers who grew up playing in front of the couch and then evolving to the PC, we just are not used to the mobile gaming aspect yet.
It's growing.
Yeah.
They got a pretty decent amount of games that can run on this thing, and like I said, this thing is an emulation beast. And also, I learned something new. The reason why, did you not know majority of the apps made on the Google Store and on iPhones no longer work on SD cards?
No.
Ever since the phones got rid of SD cards, companies that have been making all the apps, they format all their apps now, and they can't run SD cards, which is very unfortunate.
It's probably a DRM type thing. Probably. But
Yes.
yeah,
So
we got a whole new group of gamers coming up, and they're gaming differently than how we game. And mobile.
Yeah. Oh god, this thing can run Roblox.
Yeah.
Kids will love this.
And mobile was a big part of that. Yeah, my kids, they play Roblox mainly on their tablet. I got my kids the Xbox, and my oldest has started the journey of console gaming, and he's starting to prefer console gaming to playing certain games on his tablet.
Yeah.
So but I think a lot of people just really like that mobile
take
experience.
a game on the go.
Yeah.
Now I will say the mobile game scene right now still has the worst microtransactions out of any console or PC, this literally has the worst microtransaction games.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because people are still playing like NBA 2K. It's like NBA 2K Infinite on the mobile.
Yeah.
Yo, you know this game made damn near $1 million in less than a month?
I'm surprised they didn't make that in a day, how much they charge for VC.
I'm just saying, like, the microtransactions is damn near equivalent to, actually, it's worse than NBA 2K on your console, but it's just like,
No, there's nothing worse than NBA 2K on your console, and the reason I say that the reason I say that is because the VC that you buy on that NBA 2K game, when the rosters update and everything, and they do whatever they do, you still have that VC. When you switch from NBA 2K24 to NBA 2K25, if you have leftover VC, it doesn't travel with you.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's the one thing.
So you have to rebuy all that all over again. Yeah. So you got to buy all those tattoos and all that other stuff. You got to buy that every single time. So the console version is way more predatory than the live service version because you're able to keep everything as the game evolves on your mobile device at least.
Then why do people still buy the console version when they can just play the mobile? The mobile version is literally damn near the same as the console version.
I think it's just ignorance. Like, people just don't know what they don't know.
That's true, because I mean, honestly, like, I see what companies are trying to do. It's kind of like how Xbox first came out with Game Pass, and like nobody was like, "The fuck is a Game Pass?" And now look, everyone has Game Pass. Mobile phones are starting to be able to play like more games, and graphics are starting to look really decent and companies are making controllers for your mobile phone. Like this controller also works on my phone too, and I can use all my other mobile controllers on this thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's just it's
appreciate that, Yogi.
Oh, it's just, we just don't pay attention to mobile gaming, and as more as I've been diving into it, the more I realizing like this is an untapped market that can potentially be a good thing or a terrible thing for the gaming world in general, because
it's untapped for AAA gaming as far as like people aren't diving to it for those type of experiences. But
I will say you got 2K, you have Madden, you have Call of Duty, you have
but I'm saying it's not untapped on their end. It's untapped on the consumer side as far as like us console PC gamers aren't flocking to these mobile devices quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, there are AAA-ish games. I mean, it's not like it's gonna have a full story, but honestly, one of the biggest downsides, this thing only holds 128 gigabytes of storage.
Yeah,
which the apps can only run on that. So I have a very limited amount of apps I can run on this thing.
That's why,
and SD card can't help with that. Unfortunately,
that's why cloud gaming is becoming the thing. So
or just give me a half a terabyte in a goddamn mobile phone. I mean,
that's not happening without you paying $2,000 for the phone.
$1,000 Red Magic 9 Pro.
Yeah, but you also paying for that name when you buy that Samsung or that iPhone. So you paying $300-400 just for their name on your device alone.
You know how that goes. I don't give a damn about their name. I got a cooling. Red Magic 9 Pro got a cooling fan built inside.
Yeah.
What other phones have that? You can put that on your dashboard and your phone won't overheat.
Average consumer does not give a fuck. But hey, we got two more panel members present. Jubei. Oh, he's still muted. Zero, how you been? What you been playing? What you been up to?
What's going on, people? I said I was gonna finish Final Fantasy by the time we started this again.
And you had an extra week because we didn't do a show last week.
Extra week. I was still poorly mistaken. However,
yes, you were. I knew you were.
I'm at the end now. I'm on my way to the temple. Like, I know I'm at the end, but
when you decide to do that temple part, if you plan on finishing the game that day, clear out like 4 or 5 hours for yourself. It's long.
Okay, so I'll be working through the temple. But admittedly, I've been playing 2 other games that I really enjoy, which has been taking up some of the time. The first one is Unicorn Overlord, which is just such a fun little strategy game. made by Vanillaware, same people who made 13 Sentinels, and I don't remember their other game. I don't remember the other game. But it's really, really good. I like highly recommend it. Very nice strategy RPG. With the story's fine. I think it's kind of mostly the same type of story that you're used to finding in these sort of fantasy Game of Thrones esque type of energy. But the characters are fun, and so it's a good time. But what I've been really focusing all of my time in is I mentioned this a while ago. But the poker roguelike called Balatro, I think that's how it's pronounced, Balatro. I cannot recommend this game highly enough. It's only like $15. If you're a fan of card games, like I know Jube is, if you're a fan of roguelikes, and if you just generally like or have a passing understanding of poker, it's such a fun game. The whole premise is to score points based off the hands that you make, and then there are a variety of cards that can alter your hand in a variety of ways. Some cards turn every card into a face card. Some cards turn every card into the same suit, so it's all flushes. Some turn them into the same actual number, so you can get all types of straights. Highly recommend it. It's easy. It takes absolutely no time. It's got chilled out groove as a background song. Like, play Balatro, man. It's really, really good.
Okay. And Jube, how have you been? What have you been playing? Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, I've just been playing Madden. I haven't had time to play anything else besides my league. I got an unpaid promotion at work, so that's fun.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Paid is not congrats. I don't like having more work and not getting paid more for it.
Oh, I thought you got paid more.
No.
It's a lateral promotion.
Other people without a pay increase. Not happy. But yeah, I'm just chilling. When I find some time to pick up the sticks, I will. I don't know when that's gonna be. I have been on Fortnite a little bit though, so that's been fun.
Okay. That's what's up. Me myself, since we last spoke, got a little Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Platinum hunting burnout, and stopped playing that. Started playing Madden for a bit. It was week of the draft, so been playing that. I'm at the part. I'm in chapter 13 of hard mode of well, I'm not in hard mode anymore. I switched over to normal to do all the other, like the mini games and the leveling up AP and stuff like that, just so I could farm it faster and use items to restore my MP. So, but I'll jump back into hard mode when I go to finish in these last two chapters. But yeah, that's all I've been doing basically. And have I played anything else besides those two games? Not that I could think of. I'm interested in getting into Stellar Blade at some point, but
Ooh, are you going to patch your game, or are you going to be like one of those people that's not going to patch it?
well, I haven't bought it yet, so when I buy it, I'm stuck with whatever the latest version is. I can't.
But people complain that she's clothed now. She's no
Well,
longer.
that's one of our
nice.
topics.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. And let's see. Does anybody have anything on their mind that they want to talk about that's non-topic related but video game related before we jump into our topics? Do we have a what's on our mind segment today?
Streaming.
Huh?
Knuckles is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
What's now streaming on
Knuckles-
Paramount Plus? I'm sorry.
Knuckles, the Sonic.
Knuckles,
show?
yeah, Knuckles did start streaming on Paramount Plus. I've heard good things about it so far.
I haven't watched it yet. After this podcast, I'm definitely going to watch some Knuckles because I have to admit that I am a very big Sonic fan.
And then I got a notification that My Hero Academia starts back up next week.
Yep.
So I'll be there. But yeah,
Watch Fallout.
Zero, you got anything that's on your
I
mind,
have not
gaming
watched
related?
Fallout.
Oh,
I'd say
I have not-
everybody watch Fallout. To me, It's the best video game adaptation for at least for a TV show that we had. I like this better than I like The Last of Us.
You like it better than Arcane? Is it the best live action, or are you just saying best in general? Because you like it better than like Arcane, Edge Runners.
I like it better than Arcane and Edge Runners.
What? That's
and I really like Edge Runners.
Edge Runners was like amazing.
Edge Runners is it for me. I've gone back and watched it a couple times actually. It hasn't been a one and done for me.
Honestly, generally speaking, because I really like the world of Fallout. I think Fallout, Bethesda and the folks who made Fallout before Bethesda have made such a fascinating world that's like just full of lore, and it's not overly serious.
Yeah,
like it's the apocalypse, but you know, we live how we live, and so there's jokes, there's funny things that's happening, and it doesn't feel, let's say, like there are people who survive off of pure luck.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they just seem to make it off of pure luck, not through any particular skill set, not through any like noble intentions. It's just like they're told go left and like they go straight and somehow they make it out. But I highly recommend it. Watch Fallout. Excellent show.
I do have one more thing. Apparently recently there was like a top where everybody was talking about that they released like the most played games of this first quarter, and it turns out that everyone's playing 6 and 7-year-old games more than they are playing the new titles. That was something that everybody was brought up on a study recently, and people were wondering like, well, game companies are wondering like, what the hell is going on? Why is nobody buying the new Call of Duty? But everyone went back to Fallout 4 thanks to the show. It turns out shows can revive old games.
It's crazy that they went to Fallout 4 and not 76 though.
They did go back. Some people did go back to 76. 76. It's not bad, but it's not good either.
I think with anything, people aren't always looking for new experiences. Some people just want to enjoy what they already know they enjoy. And if it has a good enough gameplay loop or a good enough story, like there's people who play Candy Crush every day. They're not looking for a new game. They enjoy Candy Crush, or they enjoy Solitaire, or I mean, there's plenty of games that people have been playing for decades.
Also, you got to think we're finally getting out this live service era where everybody was trying to make a live service game. Live service games are time consuming like hell.
Live service games are time consuming, and there are a couple that aren't going anywhere, but as far as new entrants go, it's looking pretty tough. We've seen,
thank God people are moving on. They're moving on from live service finally.
We've seen what Pal World's numbers go down. We've seen Helldivers 2 numbers kind of go down a bit. So there is like this spike and this surge, and you capture the market for a little bit of time, but sustaining that is the challenge when you make a live service game. So
and I'd just like to say Nintendo had a couple of newer titles in there that were from the recent year. And they're basically the only one to do so.
Yeah.
No, Nintendo proved the point.
I mean, Tears of the Kingdom was number 2 on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which really should be number 1, because like Fortnite can't be denied. Fortnite was number 1 on everybody's list.
Fortnite is no longer a game; it's a platform.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, it's kind of like Roblox. Like Fortnite and Roblox are not games anymore; they're platforms that host games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for PC side though, I mean, we still had Counter-Strike and all the other old games.
Yeah, people still playing Counter-Strike religiously.
People are still mad at Counter-Strike, which is crazy.
And to be fair, Counter-Strike 2 did just drop, so it's sort of like recent. It just made everybody go back to Counter-Strike though, because apparently 2 is not that great.
Yeah, they're actually Payday 2 got more players than Payday 3, which is funny.
Did y'all see
Left 4 Dead 2 still got a decent amount of count because of the mod scene?
As a PC gamer, did you see that nonsense with the Tarkov game?
Oh my god!
Where everybody already paid for the PvE mode, but they still wanted to charge an extra $100.
Yeah, that could have been a topic on its own, man.
That is
That
crazy.
that was.
I don't know. I don't know
jarring.
enough about it to make a topic out of it, and I know these guys probably weren't looking at it either. But
Well, it's so basically everyone pre-ordered the game and they got the pre-order bonus with the special mode, and now the devs are like, okay, yeah, we're not going to do supply this mode anymore, but we're going to keep your money. So, and now people are like, okay, well, we're going to refund. So, it's really sad. It's truly sad when companies are greedy. If you promise something and make us, if you're convinced us to pre-order by adding this mode to convince us to pre-order the game, just for you to take it away, that is like borderline, like that's borderline theft right there. That's actually theft in my eyes.
yeah, I mean, you know that you know how I feel about the whole pre-order game. Don't be a part of it
Yeah, not even pre-order.
unless you
Tarkov
love
is
them.
still in early access, right? Like it's not a game yet.
Yeah, it's still early access. Oh, it also was even worse is Steam actually updated their terms of services. So believe it or not, early access hours did not count towards you actually playtime of the game. So if you beat a game in early access, you could technically refund it. Because it didn't abide by the 2-week rule thing or the hours played, but they just updated the terms of service. Now saying that early access now is a part of it.
I mean, but that makes sense though. You shouldn't be able to beat an entire game and refund it.
It's early access. It's not even finished yet.
Yeah, I was about to say, then don't keep your game in early access for forever. I
Uh,
think that's
Yeah.
the risk you run.
So
I hear that part of it too, because you're basically asking a group of people to beta test this game
Yep.
from beginning to end and find all the issues for you. So I mean, I can see that. I can see both sides of it.
I think there's a reasonable, like some games need to be in early access, and like if they take a little bit, but as far as I understand, like Tarkov has been in early access for a very long time.
Yes, it has.
I
Just like
think.
Fortnite, it was just in early access for a long time.
All right,
Until
so
they decide to abandon.
I think the middle ground would be if you early access a game and you help us with its development and you put in a certain amount of hours. Don't make it 1,000 hours. Like, don't make it something crazy. But if you put in a certain amount of hours, you get a free copy of the game.
I think that's fair.
If you put in a certain amount of hours and you report the issues that you see along the way, you get a free copy of the game. I think that would be fair for console and PC, not just Steam. But like, because we have betas on Xbox and PlayStation. If you put in a certain amount of hours, you should get a free copy. I think that'd be fair.
Now, screw betas. Give us demos.
Well,
they released a discounted copy. Like, give me a discount code.
You do get a discounted copy. So if you do buy early access, and by the time it comes full access, when it becomes a full-fledged game, it goes to a higher price. Like last Echo, for example, that game was like forever $15, but now that 1.0 release, it went from $15 to $40.
Got you. Okay.
So if you didn't buy the early copy of the game, you gotta pay that $40 now.
Okay. All right. Well.
So it's a risk reward type thing.
Well, that's it for the what's on your mind portion. We can jump into our first topic of today, which will be something that you Nappy brought up, which is Stellar Blade is apparently being censored. So apparently the game launched in a certain state. And we're not talking about the hard R stuff with the graffiti on the wall, which is a whole nother mess. But
I know I shouldn't laugh, but I do find that very funny.
I found it funny too at first. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew it was a mistake. I knew it was a mistake.
Yeah,
I don't think it was malicious. But like, this is why you have teams for people who like look for that type of stuff. But on the surface, it's very funny.
It's why those sweet baby people, whatever they're called, that's why they exist.
Sweet baby, it's why they exist.
Yeah, it's why they exist, because of stuff like that. It keeps you out of trouble. But basically, they sent out this demo. They got all you guys playing it. They let you take all these racy photos of these character models and all these racy costumes, and got all these
Ass and titties.
got all these horny gamers to purchase this game. The ones that we say touch grass to, because they don't get outside much. And people bought the game, and what is it? Less than a week later, they patched out a lot of the horniness that you were able to do with your photos and all that other stuff. So people are upset and calling out censorship in this instance, because I mean I saw the pictures are so racy, I can't tell what's real and what's fake because I haven't played the game. But she had on some skin tight apparel, and there was a print in one of the photos, and I was like they went into that type of detail. And you know what type of print I'm talking about, you know, the one that's below the waist.
Camo toe, just
Yeah.
camo toe.
Yeah, so and I was like, I wasn't sure if it's real or not, but hey, after that patch, I'm pretty sure if it was real, it's not there anymore. But there's a whole bunch of people outraged about it. There's been petitions online. I've seen people making like video petitions and things like that. They're pretty creepy. Kind of funny if you go look them up yourself. But I don't know who's a Zero. You're probably the most level-headed one on this matter. What are your thoughts on this Stellar Blade censorship?
Man, I've been actually following a lot of this ever since the emergence of ever since they found their boogeyman in Sweet Baby Inc. I've just been like sort of paying attention to it because like all of it's sort of related and that type of stuff. What I will say is this. On a general basis, I am not a fan of censorship. People, for the most part, you know, with barring whatever rules that your area, country, city, whatever they like establish, like you should be free to express yourself how you feel. You should be able to create content with, you know, not having to adjust it based on like someone telling you so.
Yeah.
On the other hand, this is a billion-dollar industry. This industry lives or dies by who is buying your games. You can try to gatekeep it all you want. You can try to keep it as tightly knit as you want to. But quite frankly, the people who make an absorbent amount of money are the ones really making the decisions here.
Yeah.
And if a company wants to maximize their profits by changing, and from what I can tell in Stellar Blade's case, a very minuscule little thing, they're going to do it. It is certainly your right to say, this is false advertising. I do not want to participate in this. I think censorship is bad on a base level. I sometimes think, I don't necessarily believe everybody thinks that. Everybody picks what censorship is important to them. But I'm not necessarily mad. Well, one, as far as I can tell, we have no solid proof that the company was censored. What seems to be true is that they changed some things. But I always think back to the idea that like there's to me a fine line between what is being censored and what is being adjusted to ensure you reach the maximum audience.
I hear you, and I agree to an extent, but being that that this update that quote unquote censored certain features came like a week after the game released, it leaves a bad it leaves a bad taste in my mouth as a customer, because I know people bought the game for those specific reasons, and then you take those features out. Like it's like you know, like if someone, when we were kids and Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball came out and people bought it because of the jiggle physics, and then like a week later after you bought it, the jiggle physics got taken out the game. You know, it's like
I was thinking about it in those terms too, but again, I've just been sort of idly watching, so I'm not going to pretend to be any level of expert on it. As far as I can tell, let's take away because apparently there was some gore stuff too, but I think that might be more of a graphical issue from what I hear. But from what I can tell, the jiggle physics would actually hold a lot more merit. This seems to be a particular costume which added small little flaps to the point where if this person were in real life and you saw this person walking down the street with or without those little flaps, that person would turn heads depending on where they are. If they're just out in the streets, people would be like, why are they dressed like that? What is going on? Might call her a whore. You know, people do. Regardless of what the outfit is. Like, it's not a full, complete teardown.
Oh, it's just
Let
one
alone-
outfit that got changed.
It seems to be just the one outfit that got changed. Because
Okay.
there's at least a dozen more that, quite frankly, are far more revealing than the outfit that people are complaining about.
Okay.
So, but again, you're right, Pharaoh, in the sense that, like, regardless of the change, if I bought the product specifically for that one outfit, then I guess, yes, you're right to be upset about it. It just feels as though, like, this is a really mountain, not a molehill. This is not the hill to die on, particularly when it comes to the censorship issue.
I mean,
I really don't think this is the one.
I do think making a patch change a week later towards whatever you purchased that game for, I do think it's a little egregious, but I think, the fact that this game is more so selling on its sex appeal than any other merits that the game has at the moment.
Right. And I think
it's kind of what takes away from the conversation of censorship.
Yeah.
Because as a especially in a male dominated industry, as a male, if you're complaining about this, it looks like you're just like some type of perv.
And the problem is, a lot of the people who are complaining about it.
Yeah, a lot of people that are complaining about it. Well, at least the vocal majority who are complaining about it are those type of people. Yeah. Or they come off as those exact type of people that you would start.
But there are legitimate grievances that can be made for, like, what you're saying. You're right. Like, I don't want you to just arbitrarily change something a week after I bought your game.
Yeah, like it could happen in any game. Could happen in 2K, Madden, Fortnite. Alan Wake 2, any game that you purchase, and then a week later, like it happened in GTA 5. GTA 5 is a much different game than the game it released as. Certain scenes in that game have changed as the game has gone on, which is admittedly a form of censorship.
And part of my challenge is, particularly with some of the more vocal, the vocal minority, if you will, I suspect that, like, they're not always necessarily against censorship, only when it's something that's specifically for them. When I think back to, like, Spider-Man 2, and, like, a lot of people were, like, losing their mind over the what is it, the deaf girl, Miles's girlfriend's mission. They were just like, why is this wasting time? Like, I hated it, and I was like, wow, this must be a pretty big part of the game. And it was like maybe a 10-minute side mission at best. I was like, there's no absolute way people are complaining about this. But if Insomniac were to have patched that mission out, I suspect that those folks would not have said anything.
I mean, but the scenes with Miles and the deaf girl, I mean, that reaches a whole new audience. Not
specifically them together. There's just the one side mission where you play as her.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, what I'm saying is,
that side mission out.
It reaches out to a new audience. That means a lot to people who are deaf, that they're represented in a video game. Same way, black people want to be represented in video games, and other cultures want to be represented in video games. The deaf community also wants to be represented in video games, and having that moment, it means something to that particular audience. There's an audience for it, and don't let 10 minutes ruin your entire gaming experience because they made something for someone else.
In the same way that, like, we're told that, like, I sure would like if Eve wore some clothes on. It's like, well, this game isn't really for you then, and that's fine. Like, I don't particularly care for Celebrate. I don't like the action that much, but It's a
Well,
cool game. I played a demo.
when it was Project Eve and it was first shown, yes. All right. Let's see. Yeah, when it was Project Eve and they first debuted it, I was interested in it then. And back then they weren't necessarily selling it on sex appeal quite yet. I think the sex appeal thing happened like maybe like a year or two later when the game showed up again. And then that's when the whole thing became, Stellar Yams. Is what the game started being trademarked as in the Twitter community or the X community, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I'll definitely check the game out at some point. That some point might be when it comes to PC, because I'm sure it'll be here pretty soon.
Mods for PCs when that game's gonna go crazy.
Yeah,
I already know there's gonna be new mods. So.
Yeah, the nude mod will be out before the game is out.
Bro, have you seen Resident Evil 4 remake mods?
Yes.
God damn, what they did
every
to
game,
Ashley.
Every game that's on PC has some sort of nude mod art.
Look at Resident Evil 7's Resident Evil 8's with the Lady Demetrius mod.
Lady D. Yeah.
No, the most egregious one that I've seen was Street Fighter 5.
Oh yeah, one of the naked and one of the actual people that were hosting the tournament had his mods installed on one of the characters. He came out.
Well, I saw that one, but I saw all bro. They had nude mods for every character in the game, male and female.
Yeah, they do that for Tekken too.
Yeah, so I think the fighting games is probably the most egregious.
It's okay because of that whole Street Fighters thing. Did you not know that actually Capcom went after the people who made the new mods, and now forced them to shut that shit down and stop providing it?
Like, hey man, you went too far.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's their IP, it's their character, and they don't want their character represented in that light.
Yeah.
So I mean,
a little too late for that.
So yeah,
that was funny. You're right at an official Street Fighter tournament.
So yeah, like these publishers can go after anyone who makes those type of mods that makes their character show in a light that's not acceptable to them.
Yeah. I add one thing because you brought it up about that this game is being sold on its sex appeal, which I think is which is unfortunate, I think, for the game, because the people who made the game, and I played a demo, there's nothing sexy about Eve outside of the way she looks.
Yeah.
And if to clarify that, there's people keep trying to compare her to Bayonetta, they're not even close to being the same.
Yeah.
Eve seems to be absolutely lifeless. She doesn't recognize that she looks good as far as we can tell. Bayonetta understands that she's the baddest bitch in the room. And she likes it and she enjoys it and she plays off of it, where Eve is she just exists.
This is South Korea company. I mean, they just know they look good.
Which is cool,
they don't,
but
they don't acknowledge that they look good. They just know. It's like a second thought. And if you're ugly, just get surgery.
It's a competition in Korea to be as beautiful as possible. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna let y'all pilot this for a second.
Yeah. All right. So Nappy, I know you don't you haven't played the new Final Fantasy, but there's a difference between Tifa, who is dressed incredibly scantily clad for whatever reason, sure, not an issue. And the character Scarlet, who was also pretty not necessarily scantily clad, but very tight clothes. One of those two people fully understand that they're very attractive. Tifa does not seem to understand that she's attractive. She just is. But Scarlet knows without a shadow of a doubt that I look very good. Same with Lady Dimitrescu or Ada Wong. Both of these women understand what they look like completely.
Yes, right? They do.
Yeah, you can tell just by their energy, how they affect themselves. They know exactly what they look like. I can't say that Eve does that. and nothing I've seen so far proves that she knows that she's pretty. Like, I don't even know if she knows that she's pretty, let alone like ridiculously attractive in a variety of like dress up outfits. Morgan from Dog, like, there's a whole host of like sexy, if we're just doing women who know that they're sexy.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
I get what you're saying. I mean, honestly, like, this funny to me. Like, for the people who are really, really butthurt about this, I honestly think that maybe, $70 can get you at least like 2 lap dances at a strip club.
Again, if you go on a good night, it might get you 3.
Go on a weekday, get that 3 for 1.
Yeah, you know
I'm just saying, like, I get the argument about the censorship thing, like how when people bought the game for one thing, but really they patch it out. Yeah, that really sucks, and I'm kind of against that. But at the same time, like, we're talking about because you can't see a camel toe.
Yeah, like is that what we're talking about? Because there's just
I mean,
better
are we
examples
down
to
that
fight
bad?
for.
Are we down bad? Like, it's kind of like, look, I get it. I mean, because don't get me wrong, Steam is full with a bunch of sex games to the point where Steam had to make a whole separate section just for these damn games.
Yeah.
But it's just I get the whole thing about censorship. It's not like you should be able to tell the game how you want to tell it. I understand that the companies want to get that out to more audience, especially this is a smaller studio that just got a big budget because of Sony for making it exclusive. So I kind of get what they're trying to get as much audience as possible, and they don't want to be known as like, oh, we are that sexy perverted game with the sexy perverted ninjas, with the ass and titties out. Like, we want the most people to buy the game as much as possible. Which, if a kid were to see this, a parent would be like, "Nah, I'm not buying this game for you. Look at she looks skimpy as hell."
Yeah, this is the hard sell. If I'm like 13 years old, I'm like, hey mom, can you get me this? Absolutely not.
Yeah, so I kind of get why they're doing the thing, and for the people, I can understand why some people are upset. But if you really, really like need to see like that camel toe, I'm gonna be honest with you at this point, man. Take your $70, just go to a strip club, 30 minutes, man. You can get like 2 lap dances. You'll be fine. I'm telling you, much better experience.
Better experience, much better time.
That's what I'm saying. But it's just I get the frustrations of patching stuff out or changing things when you're selling it as a certain way. Just, I mean, I guess the game industry is just full of perverts. I mean, they want to see them naked. It's okay because when it comes out on PC, it's going to be 10 times worse. So.
Oh, but the console folks, they don't get that premium experience that you get over there when you're.
Oh, that's true. But you guys can take out $70 and go to a strip club.
$70 don't get you much at the strip club.
I mean, I don't know.
You gotta go on Tuesdays.
Yeah, you gotta go on a Tuesday.
You trying to go on Saturday night? No, it was on Tuesday around 3:30.
Nah, go on a Sunday. Go to a strip club on a Sunday. I remember I did that one time. That was interesting. Everything was cheap though.
I bet it was. Juba, did you have any thoughts on the whole Stellar Blade censorship? I don't know if you got any words in on it.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Get you some bitches. That's all I got. You mad about missing out on one camel toe or whatever, bro? You know how many OnlyFans subscriptions you could buy for $70? Go get you some. Stop crying.
That's only 1 month. That's only 1 month though. $70 is only like
$70 1 month.
4D chess. We talk about strip club.
Well, he's saying how many subscriptions you can buy. If you buy like 3 or 4 of them, that's only going to carry you 1 month.
I mean, if you pay for some quality of ones, though, that might be worth it.
Exactly.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think anything worth it with how much they give away for free on Twitter as is.
I mean, you give a lot away on free on Twitter.
Twitter account, bro. You want to see some camel toe? Go to Twitter.
Just go to.
So the camel toe was not a doctored image. That's like in the game.
Yeah. So if they took it out,
so the camel toe is. So you're confirming that the camel toe is in the game, Jube.
All I'm gonna say is go get you some bitches.
That's wild. If it is, I'm just saying that's wild.
The fact that there are grown men crying about this.
I can't really say that's wild though, because like Cyberpunk, you can kind of like do the thing with your meat size, and then
Yeah.
You got the thing with Baldur's Gate and having sex with whatever you want to have sex with, not just regular old things.
I mean, again, just go to a strip. Honestly, Barry, how about this? Take like $140 and go to strip club on a Tuesday.
But you know, at least on the PC side, like sex and games have always been huge. Like there's a whole market of those type of
Oh, we don't, I don't really want to talk about
perv
those
games on the Steam side.
They're like, there's a bunch of terrible games, and there was actually one developer that got so tired of all these terrible sex games that he actually made a Metrovania sex game that actually is a very good Metrovania game. And it's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious how good it is, but it has like weird sex scenes where basically if you get attacked by a goblin, the goblin is like your character is stroking the goblin's dick with their titties or something.
Yeah, because I remember growing up and looking at the ESRB rating, and then there was M, and then there was rated AO, adults only, and I was like, how come I never see any of these adults only games? And I even like, when Xbox 360 and had the store and PlayStation had the store, I even searched on the PlayStation store, the Xbox store for adults only games. I was like, they don't exist on here. Where do you buy these adult only games at? And then I realized it was all you PC people that was buying this weirdo content.
Yeah, Steam is right now flooded with a bunch of different sex games, and it's getting bad.
Adults only in my mind at the time didn't equate to sex games. It equated to like a real life like horror movie with all the gore and everything being like in a game and all the language, like they're dropping F-bombs and ripping people's throats out. So I was like, I want to see what this is about.
Yeah.
And I think so. I was looking up while we're talking. It seems to just be two outfits: the Holiday Rabbit, which is just a classic Playboy bunny costume,
Okay,
and the Cybernetic Bondage outfits.
Cybernetic
those seem to be the
bondage.
only two that have changed, I guess.
I don't know. Cybernetic bondage sound like that should be fire. Sounds like
I'm pretty sure.
sounds like it's gonna be like at all the cosplay events next year, or maybe this summer.
This year, this summer.
Yeah, it's about to go crazy. I'm trying to see if I can get a picture of it.
But I don't know. I think we hit this. Stellar Blade commentary pretty hard. We can move on to the all Xbox portion of the show since they seem to be dominating the news at the moment. And I forgot to do my timestamp, so I'm gonna have to go back after this show's over and knock all that out. But I guess I'll get the timestamp for the Xbox earning report. Save me some work. Let's see. All right. Boom. So Xbox earnings report, topic number 2. Let me get rid of that bottom bar nonsense. So I think it was last week. Last week Xbox released their earnings reports, or Microsoft released their earnings reports, and Xbox is a part of that. And we got a new look at what Xbox and ABK merger and Bethesda all combined looks like, going 2 quarters in now. So we're just going to stick to the Xbox side of it. Their gaming revenue was up 51%. Xbox content and service revenue was up 62%. But hardware went down 31%. And I believe this quarter actually includes holiday sales for hardware. So it's a pretty big deal that they're down that much percent. Activision accounted for 55% of the total revenue that Xbox made. So looks like that was a very smart purchase for them to make, because the revenue only increased 51% and Activision was 55%. They really did carry the Xbox brand this quarter, which is kind of expected. You know, being that the beast that is Call of Duty is doing what they do, plus Candy Crush, and I don't think people realize like how much money
mobile games make.
Mobile games make, and how much just Activision Blizzard King was really making over there. They were $100+ stock on their own. Before the whole Cosby Room nonsense. So yeah. So I don't think this topic we're going to sit home too long on. But something interesting that came out of it is that Satya Nadella, he spoke on the success of Xbox this quarter, and he seemed really excited about the 4 games that they put on PlayStation and Switch over these past couple months, and he really was excited about the fact that Xbox had was the largest publisher in the top 25 of PlayStation sales. So I just found that interesting, and I just kind of want to get y'all thoughts on that. I don't know if you guys really paid attention to it last week, but Nappy, I'm gonna throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on Xbox's earnings and Satya's excitement about about dominating someone else's storefront?
I will definitely say, like, again, Activision was a smart move for Microsoft, as they are getting 50% earnings. The number speaks for himself. Hardware sales going down. I'm not shocked. I think everyone's hardware sales is trying to go down because everyone either has an Xbox, PlayStation, and everybody and their mother owns a Nintendo Switch.
Well, and then also, I think people don't realize that like these consoles actually released in the middle of a recession also, like whereas like Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and all the other consoles did not release under poor economic conditions.
It did, so we do have to give Xbox that grace.
Not just Xbox, PlayStation too, because PlayStation's numbers aren't trending as fast as the PlayStation 4 right now either. So I mean, everyone's numbers are down, but Xbox's numbers are really down, really down.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this just, it is what happened. The pandemic happened, and nobody could own consoles. It was a hard time getting consoles at one point. So
yeah,
the hardware sales do not surprise me. When the pandemic ended, a lot more people got their hands on the PlayStation 5 more so than the Xbox. It is true, but at the same time, a lot of people got Xbox Game Pass and are playing it on a goddamn phone. As a matter of fact, my girl right now, she just literally got Game Pass and refuses to get the Xbox Series X because she's like, I could just use Game Pass on my Xbox One and play all the latest and greatest titles.
Yeah.
And I tell her it's not the same, but she believes it's the same.
Hey, the people who are not tech junkies, there's no difference between the newest version of something and the older version of something if they kind of do the same thing.
I mean, now the fact that Xbox Game Pass now works on like TV, like they got on all the Samsung 7000. Well, I think it went all the way down to 6000 series TVs now.
Yeah, they're on Samsung, and I think they're working out the agreement with LG. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and honestly, like if you have your TV plugged in directly to your router and you have a decent internet speed, I ain't gonna lie, that shit was very impressive. Scary impressive, to be honest.
It is, but I don't know. Ever since the ABK deal happened, it feels like the cloud loading times to get into a game have gone way up.
I mean, they haven't released none of their Call of Duty games on Game Pass, which I'm shocked about.
Well, first of all, that's going to happen with a major announcement. It's not just going to be like, oh, hey, Call of Duty's on. It's not going to be like just like some type of blog post. If that's happening, it's happening on an Xbox stage, that announcement.
Yeah, and also, hey, since Microsoft owned you on Xbox, why do you release Warzone on mobile phones but not on the Nintendo Switch?
Well, they're working on Switch versions.
Of Call of Duty Warzone they just released on the mobile? It literally runs on the S22. You tell me it can't run on the Switch?
I'm not saying it can't. I'm saying they're working on a Switch version as we speak. So,
Hurry up.
maybe the first version of Call of Duty that launches on the Switch will be on the next generation model of a Switch. Maybe they don't want to release it until then because they want a certain shock factor when they see like these type of graphics on a Switch device. I'm just saying that's probably what it is. You might not like it.
I'm gonna say literally our phone. Even though our phones are cooking at this point, where these phones actually need cooling systems to play these mobile games, but it's very interesting.
I saw that Yowie with the server farms.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Xbox's stocks are going up. I mean, they were the underdog for quite some time, and it looks like they're catching up to Sony as far as revenue, and they're saying that they're here to stay.
I think they passed Sony in revenue. I think they're going to pass them in revenue this year.
That'd be good.
That's how big the ABK acquisition is. Because I think they're going to clear like $25 billion for the year.
Yeah, I'm just Candy Crush
in revenue.
It's like $20 billion. But yeah, I really love to see what they do. Can they fix the Lava God? Fix Overwatch? Make Overwatch great again?
But they've already been making improvements to Overwatch. I mean, they may not be making.
They haven't publicly announced them, but they have been making it slowly better. But
Overwatch is dead.
They're not marketing it at all whatsoever.
They're saving everything for the show. That week of June 9th or whatever it is they're hosting their event, that entire week is just going to be packed with so much Xbox news. They're going to dominate that Summer Games Fest in such a way. And then they'll disappear again and we'll complain about Xbox marketing and how shitty it is probably until like September, whenever the next Xbox game is coming out. Because we got Hellblade 2 in like what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Hellblade 2 in 3 weeks, and then like 2 weeks after that is the Xbox show. So
it is very interesting though. Like I said, I'm actually glad to see that Xbox is getting some revenue, is finally making some revenue. And also because honestly, like I don't think one console should stay on top forever or a company. I think that they need to be put on their toes sometimes, or they need something to keep them on their toes.
Xbox is positioning themselves to stay on top forever. When they
got the money, but I do believe that Sony's going to go back to its PlayStation 2 era, where it's going to have all the creativity.
I don't know about that, and the reason that I say I don't know about that is because I feel like Microsoft is taking a very Disney approach to their acquisition of content in the gaming industry, and it's gonna be like, you know, like Disney owns ESPN and ABC and, you know, all these different networks. They own Hulu and Disney Plus, and like they own so much content that they can't help but be number one.
I mean, but look at Disney now. Their shares and stocks have gone down dramatically.
Well,
nobody cares about Marvel Avengers after the end game.
Well, the difference between Disney and Microsoft is that at Disney there is a centralized hub of creative thought, and that centralized hub trickles down to every other thing that they do, and that doesn't necessarily happen with Microsoft. And the way that they handle game, everyone kind of does their own thing. Microsoft just kind of funds it. So, because, you know, MCU got Disney-fied. If you watch Iron Man 1 and 2, it gives you a very different Tony Stark than what you got after they were acquired by Disney. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You can see the Disneyfication of Tony Stark from the moment that they purchased the rights to Iron Man. It's totally different. Iron Man 1 and 2, which are amazing movies, you know, showed Tony in a different light. When he was on that plane with a bunch of stripper stewardesses, that would not have happened if it was a Disney film. It just wouldn't have. So yeah, it's definitely Disney gets in their own way, and their template is kind of hindering creativity over there. But Zero, what are your thoughts on these Xbox earnings and Satya and his excitement of dominating the PlayStation Store and all that other stuff?
I mean, I'm glad somebody's excited. There's a portion of me that's still just sort of like, what does this mean for me, the Xbox owner? And when does it pay dividends for me, the Xbox owner? I'm happy that you're excited, Satya. That's cool. I'm not interested in you dominating on the PlayStation Store. Like, I don't really care. Particularly because at this point, it seems that the writing's on the wall, and Xbox and Microsoft and themselves are going to be going in a different direction than sort of the traditional direction that we've been used to for the past like 6 or so generations.
Well, they've already been in that direction before,
Absolutely.
even before ABK.
I mean, I feel like this is the first time in quite some time that I can feel excited about the direction that they're going in.
I mean, like, because you got Minecraft. Minecraft been over there. Like everything that's Minecraft, whether it be dungeons, legends, whatever, that's over there. They got a couple other games that's been over there before, and then when they bought ZeniMax, they kept all that stuff over there. For the most part,
But things like Minecraft, like acquisition, is fine. But there was the idea that like Sea of Thieves was always the Microsoft game.
Yeah.
That is on PlayStation. As far as I'm concerned, it's wonderful. But the whole era of, and perhaps Sony will get on board too, who knows? But the whole era of like, you got to go to Microsoft to get this seems to be coming to an end.
I would disagree, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, which is fine.
Because I think they're still going to have exclusive content, just like I said, Disney still has exclusive content, even though they release content to other platforms. And I think that's kind of the same thing that we're seeing Xbox do.
Well, my larger point is that specifically, though, like Disney has exclusive in the very most technical terms, but everything's exclusive when you own everything.
Yeah.
So it shifts the narrative a bit. Where again, this isn't how traditional consoles work. And Microsoft has decided we're not going to play that game anymore. We're going to do something else. If we own everything, then like everybody's got to pay us regardless.
Well,
we probably don't even need to make another game anymore, or another system.
They're going to try to be like Valve.
Xbox, the brand, will make money.
All right, so I mean, if we go through like kind of like the history of gaming and like we focus on like when Sega and Nintendo were, the big two. They both made their own games. And then, third parties would make games on the consoles here and there, but really it was their own first party content that kind of drove their consoles. And then PlayStation comes along and they become basically the third party box. Like if you want to make games, PlayStation is the console for you. If you have any interest and passion in making games, we created this device, and it's very easy to make for us versus having to make for Sega or Nintendo, who are still like on these cartridges. Say Dreamcast evolved, but they were having issues by the time they got to that point. And then
Dreamcast.
And then the game changed again. The game changed the moment that Xbox came in the picture, because all the third party games that were coming out on Xbox, on PlayStation, Sega and Nintendo weren't necessarily competing for those games. It wasn't until Xbox came into the picture that Xbox and PlayStation really started competing for the exact same type of customer. Because Sega, Nintendo, and Xbox were all making Sega and Nintendo were making different type of games and attracting different types of people, and PlayStation wasn't really making anything. They were just a place for creatives to create. So now Xbox is changing the game again. I mean, the game has changed a couple different times. throughout.
I'd argue a little differently though. Like if we jump back to the sort of Sega Nintendo era, it's not the exclusives were certainly key, but it wasn't. I mean, for Nintendo it was because most of the games they make are exclusives.
Yeah.
But for Sega, not so much. Like Mortal Kombat was a huge thing for Sega over the Super Nintendo because it had blood, but Sega didn't make Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Midway, but that's not like it's an exclusive, but it's not a game that Sega made. It's just a game that was on Sega.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's what, like to me, that's not an exclusive. It's simply like and to be fair, it was on both systems. But like it, like in the way that today people are like, what games did PlayStation make? What games did Xbox make? We already know that Hogwarts and Call of Duty will exist, but we're talking about what's going to make me buy the PlayStation, which is a change from the old era, which was just like what games as a whole are going to make me buy. That's why the PS2 is so successful, right? Like it's not about the games that PlayStation made, even though they made really good games, but it was also one of the few places you can get Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, the massive amount of games, all your Final Fantasies, that simply didn't exist anywhere else. But it's still for the most part console to console.
Yeah.
Up until Nintendo decided we're gonna really stop doing that, and so we switch it up from there. And it's why today when people talk about like they never bring up Nintendo, they just say like Nintendo is in its own lane. Even though I'm like I don't necessarily understand how that's true. Do they make a console? Yes. Do they make video games? Yes. If they sell more than the other two, arguably, are they more successful? The argument can be made, but on a base level, yes, they're not in their own lane. Like they just carved out something that nobody else was doing.
I think the in your own lane thing is more of a one. I think is mainly a fanboyish type discussion, but I also think shareholders kind of feel the same way. They try to steer the conversation the same way because they don't want to address the elephant in the room that is Nintendo and that they can't catch up to them. So it's
and the truth be told is the only thing I appreciate about Xbox, as far as I can tell, they've addressed that elephant in the room. Flat out said it. Like, listen, man, we are probably not going to be able to take people away from PlayStation to move those numbers so that Xbox is this giant beast. We already know we're not going to be able to do it to Nintendo. So let's do something different.
Yeah.
And instead of being the guy to try to compete, we'll just put our things everywhere. Because it's still money for us. And they aren't, as you were alluding to, Pharaoh, like the sort of traditional heads up console war thing, it's a relic of the past, unfortunately. I mean, not unfortunately, it just is. It's a relic of the past, bro. Like people aren't interested.
It's quickly becoming that. I'll say that much.
Yeah, like it was fun because even the companies aren't going head up in a way. Like we're way past the eras of like Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
Or even PlayStation with PlayStation 4 being like, here's how you exchange games and just handing it to him. Like the 5 and the S and the 1 are just like vibing on their own things. And just doing their own stuff. The war still rages on in the Twitter spaces, but for everybody else, it doesn't seem to be. So again, like I started off with, I am happy that like they're making this done. As I still always say, it's like I just want more products to come out of this. Hellblade's coming. That's cool. Was Hellblade Avowed?
Hellblade Avowed. We got Clockwork Revolution.
Yeah.
We got
and I'm sure I saw a bunch of Xbox ID stuff, so like I'm sure maybe some of those will drop this year, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I think all of them are dropping this year actually.
Yeah, and of course we got
at least
whatever Xbox is going to show at their showcase was hopefully something within a 6 months period of the showcase, maybe 10. Like I said, man, I just want games for this Xbox. Like I have an Xbox. I have a bunch of old games that I can play that I just haven't played because I haven't owned an Xbox in a long time, and that's perfectly fine. But if I've already played those and I'm done with those,
well, Xbox is releasing more games than they ever have. I mean, I think you had a little bit of a drought between December and May where they just didn't have anything. But I think the issue that we have now is that you've bought all this content, and a lot of games that are releasing don't necessarily feel like quote unquote Xbox games because you've always had access to these games, and there's really nothing that's changed now that Microsoft has purchased these particular companies. Like from the Bethesda side, I guess Starfield is the first game that really felt like an Xbox game. Because it was a new IP. And it was exclusive to the platform. And then I think what else did they release during that season? Well, Call of Duty, and a couple other games, but Call of Duty doesn't feel like a quote unquote Xbox game. And they released a couple others. I can't think off the top of my head. But I think that's kind of the issue, is that Xbox is releasing a lot of content, but a lot of that content, they released Forza Motorsport, that popped in my head just now. But a lot of those games don't necessarily feel like quote unquote Xbox games yet.
I would suspect that, I think that's a good thing for the longest, if the narrative for the longest time is Halo, Gears, and Forza, that's an Xbox game. It's I'm glad that there are games that don't feel like them, because regardless of what they feel like, they are, right?
Yeah.
An Xbox game, regardless of what you want to feel them to be.
But I'm saying, when you're saying you want more games, I'm saying they actually are releasing more content than they ever have. It just doesn't quite feel like it because they just acquired these new companies, and you are still gonna, have access to those games regardless at this point in time. Like the games that came out this year, you were getting them whether Microsoft purchased ABK or not.
So I think, what came out this year?
This year nothing has come out this 2024 year, but last year they released 10 games, I think, last year.
Yeah, it was Redfall, Starfield. Gears wasn't last year, was it?
No, Gears hasn't come out since last gen.
Halo Infinite, was that last year? No, that was the year before.
They did a new Halo Infinite season. I'd have to look up what they released last year, but I know they released somewhere between 10 and 15 titles last year. And I'm not including Diablo 4 in that because they didn't quite own them yet. Maybe they are. Are you looking it up, Navi?
I'm trying to see. Looks like they didn't drop anything.
In 2024? 2023?
2024. I was looking up 2024. They have
2024. Nothing. The first game they're dropping in 2024 is Hellblade.
Yeah. So Hellblade is the very first game they're dropping.
That's the first game they're dropping in 2024 is Hellblade.
Sword Art. Damn, I didn't even know they did Sword Art Online. I forgot all about that thing. Okay.
But they said they plan on releasing 15 titles this year. So between May and
Hi-Fi Rush was last year.
It was last year.
Hi-Fi Rush was last year, yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, like I said, Xbox got their studios. Let's start printing out these damn games.
Well, they've been making them. It's just we need the game. It's not they need to make more games. They need to release the games that they marketed on their stage that haven't, like State of Decay 3,
State of Decay, yeah,
Avowed, Hellblade. They need to release certain games, the games that they've actually been marketing for the past couple of years that haven't released yet. Fable. They have to release a select amount of games, because if they release the new Call of Duty next year, no one's counting that mentally as an Xbox game.
Well, Call of Duty is Call of Duty.
But Indiana Jones, when that releases, people will be like, oh yeah, that's Xbox. When Hellblade releases, oh yeah, that's Xbox.
Microsoft Flight Simulator. We get a Microsoft Flight Simulator in 2024.
Man, I played that game. That shit's so hard to play for me. Like, I couldn't get up, down, or around. I was trying to fly that Halo ship.
Pilot's license B.
You clearly get out a pilot.
Well, I don't think I should have to be a pilot to navigate a Halo ship, but that's neither here nor there.
Visions of Mana is an exclusive?
No, it is not.
Did they get publishing?
No, they're not publishing it. It's a Square Enix game. They have the marketing for it. Now, if something happens between now and the game releases, some sort of unforeseen announcement, you know.
Oh, and that was right. It was the public. I mean, not it was the marketing. Same thing when I
Yeah,
asked
it's
you guys
marketing.
about
Yeah,
metaphor.
yeah. Outside of an acquisition, Square Enix is publishing that game. And even if it was acquired, Square Enix would still publish that game.
Yeah, Square Enix is surprisingly they know their worth. They better think Final Fantasy 14. That's all they keeping them alive.
They're not worth much. I think if Square were to sell right now, I don't think they sell for more than like 14 billion.
That's not much.
When ABK goes for 70, yeah, it's not much.
That's ABK.
Yeah, but AKK was an anomaly.
Yeah,
I'm about to say 14 billion for what?
But I'm saying I'm not saying I think they would get 14 billion. I'm saying that they're not getting above that. They'd be probably some. They're a Bethesda-sized company, so they would be somewhere between. And then you gotta calculate inflation. So they're probably if Bethesda sold for 7, then Square Enix is probably selling for what 11, 12. Xbox, being a US company, might have to pay a premium, which might push them up to around 14, 15.
I mean, Square, I ain't gonna lie. Square, for the little amount of IPs that Square Enix owns, they are, and in fact, the value they are is impressive.
But their only value I think their only value to Xbox lies in what they mean to PlayStation.
Japanese RPGs, JRPGs.
And the fact that PlayStation uses Square Enix as a big marketing tool for their platform, and they keep the biggest titles away from Xbox and things like that. I think that's more so that would be their interest in buying it more so than like Square Enix. Like if Square Enix didn't have that relationship with Sony, I don't think the interest would be there personally. But I think them wanting, if they were to purchase Square, it would be to sever the relationship that Square has, or to weaken the relationship Square has with Sony. That to me, that's the only reason they would do it. But Jubei, Xbox earnings, Satya being excited about dominating the PlayStation Store, top 25 list. What are your thoughts?
I mean, hardware's in the shitter, but they're making money off of games, man. I mean, we knew Activision was going to add to their bottom line. That was the whole point of doing all this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, get it twisted. You knew that
because ABK literally has the power to carry the Xbox brand. That's how much money it
does.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
Solo. Yeah. All of like the increases in profits, literally like 99% of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Activision is really killing it. It kind of just puts that in perspective. And like I said, just wait till like something like WoW or something ends up on console. Like, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be absolutely insane.
Well, when they get it running on just your TV, because that'll happen.
I mean, they already got Game Pass on your TVs, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The little streaming stick.
Yep.
Oh god, they're going to go next. They're going to compete with the Nvidia.
Then when they get that live action, they get that. Don't even gotta be live action. They get that Warcraft TV show with Netflix, and then drop it on every device.
I don't know. I don't know. Amazon might have it on lock with how good Fallout doing.
Well, Amazon has Fallout, Netflix has Gear, so we gotta wait and see. You can't mess up Gears though. That's you fucked that up.
Hold my beer. Hold my beer.
Yep.
I thought the same thing about Halo, yet here we are.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I understand why they did what they did with Master Chief, making him a talkative person, but they forgot that's why gamers love Master Chief, because he's a cold-hearted badass from birth up to 14 when he beat the shit out of those ODST members.
I mean,
it's like he's not supposed to be relatable. He's just supposed to be a complete utter badass. But the show tried to give him a personality, which I understand why they did it, because.
But The other thing is the show didn't necessarily have to focus on him anyway. We know he's a force. We know he exists. You know, what I mean,
Well,
I'm honestly more interested in
I
the other
haven't
shit that's going on.
I haven't watched Halo yet, but I will say that, they didn't have to um make Master Chief this appealing character as far as giving him a personality. They could have used Cortana for that, like they did in the games, and
Oh my
then
gosh, his mommy issues galore.
yeah, um, and if they would have done that sooner, maybe Cortana would still be around, um, but because she was baked into everything, um, and it would have been perfect if they would have released the Halo show maybe like what, a decade ago, when they like put Cortana on your phone and on your PC and all that. um it may have overtook what Alexa has become today.
I mean, we act like it can't come back though. With all their advances in AI and shit, they could totally come back.
Yeah, Cortana could technically come back, but I don't know. I don't want to play. I don't want Cortana. I want a different something else. Cortana might stab you in your sleep.
But she might be the popular AI right now, as opposed to Google or Amazon or whatever. Had they
Well,
done that.
well, technically Cortana's built into Windows. Everyone keeps on forgetting about her though.
Yeah, they took her out. They took away the name. She's not.
Actually,
But
no, she's still,
I think people have moved away. Like Alexa just
no.
is still there because of the brand, but like I think people themselves have just moved away from the like person. They just need the thing. Like nobody's
Yeah.
like ChatGPT doesn't need a name. It's just ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And people will call it that. Yeah, like Alexa's stuck for some reason, but like Google is just hey Google.
Yeah.
Don't cut on.
Well, Google is not, it's not the home of creativity.
Google is the home of searching for everything.
They are not the home of creativity. They're not coming up with special names for anything.
Hey, they came up with a special name for Stadia, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Look,
But everything
Stadia
else is
on a
just
technical
Google
level,
whatever it is. Google Glasses, Gmail. If it has a name that's stuck, it's because they bought them, like YouTube. They bought YouTube, so
That was the smartest purchase they ever made.
Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Workspace. They just throw Google on it, and then whatever after it, what it is what it is. They don't really get creative with the names. Android, I guess, is as creative as they get when it comes to names.
Well, the operating system, even though they're all based off of Linux, is like the Fruit Loops OS for Android that's a creative name for an Android operating system. But hey,
They name all their operating system after sweets.
yep. So I'll
So
give them something.
yeah, we can jump into the next topic that popped up while we were gone. And let me clear out this bottom bar, and then I'll throw the timestamp on, and I'll get the other timestamps later. Let's see, we are at all right, Xbox VR. So there was Mark Zuckerberg was talking was being interviewed. It seemed pretty informal. But he was talking about VR specifically, and he was saying that they had partnered with Xbox, and Xbox is going to be making their own Oculus based device with Xbox OS built into it. Seems pretty interesting. My initial thoughts was like, oh, how brilliant of Microsoft to have Facebook do all their R&D for them and just throw an OS in there real quick. So it looks like Xbox VR will finally happen. I guess I'll throw this one I'll let Captain Xbox kick off this topic. How do you feel about Xbox VR being on the way finally?
honestly, I don't think it's gonna be like a like I think it's gonna have Xbox branding. It's gonna have Xbox branding on it, but it's not gonna be like, an Xbox headset. Would it be cool if they can get all that shit to work?
I got the impression that it's gonna be like what Android is. So it's gonna be like the Oculus OS, but an Xbox version of it.
Okay.
Just like whatever Android version comes out, like Fruit Loop or whatever the current version is. There's a Samsung version of Fruit Loops, and there's a LG, like whoever the phone maker is, they have their own version of that.
Okay.
That's kind of the impression that I got. So it's kind of going to be like Android, but for VR headsets. Is what Facebook is providing, or Meta. That's what they're going to be providing, is what it seems like.
Okay. I mean, but now on the other hand of that, like we also have to, like, what experiences are we going to get in there? Like, is Xbox going to have to spin off a VR division? Not that they can't. They could.
Make sure that's open to everything outside the Xbox ecosystem.
I don't think they're going to need a VR division per se. What I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed it, is that a lot of their games, whether it be Indiana Jones, Avowed, Clockwork Revolution, they're all in first person, which is already 90% of the legwork for a VR title.
True.
So it kind of looks like they're kind of forward thinking in the sense that, like, when we do have, I think if it's literally just like a OS change, I could see them releasing the Xbox VR headset this holiday or even next year. I could see that being a possibility. And I could see Avowed having a VR mode at launch. Hypothetically, I mean, I don't see anything. The game's already in first person. You just gotta, get the controls, mapped for the headset and things like that, and I think you'd be good to go.
Right, but like, are we gonna see something like Half-Life Alyx playable via Xbox on a headset?
Valve is not doing that.
I don't know. Xbox and Gabe, they have a pretty good relationship. It's possible.
You have a good relationship.
So they did say that they're talking about trying to bring all these different storefronts to Xbox, right? Like, realistically, I could see like all these VR games on Steam. So like they won't even have to get into VR. Really, they can take their little 30% for having it on their store.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, I don't think Valve's going to lose their 30% by saying, "Hey, don't come to our store. Hey, don't go to Valve store. Go to Xbox store." Like, Valve's not going to do that.
Not everybody has a hot PC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think everybody, as long as they make it compatible with Valve, that's the biggest thing. Because it's all we'll have with Sony.
Well, Meta has already made themselves compatible with Valve, so I don't think Xbox has to do that legwork personally. If it's literally just the Meta OS, but an Xbox version of it, I don't think they'd have to do the legwork, being that Meta already did it.
We'll see. I mean, they could lock it down just to Xbox. That would be a terrible move, but
that would be contrary to what they've been talking about doing as far as opening up other stores to the platform. So that would kind of be against what they've already been talking about doing before the VR announcement even took place.
I just don't see how you lose money. Like, Steam's not going to lose money just because their storefronts on an Xbox.
I mean,
it's more money because the people that already have PCs aren't going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to move over to the Xbox and stop buying shit on my PC. That's not going to fucking happen. It's about getting people that aren't in the PC market, which is a nice little chunk of people, and introducing them to that. There's experiences you can only have on PC for, a bunch of reasons.
Then you have like VR Game Pass, and Half-Life Alyx could be in VR Game Pass.
Exactly.
That's possible.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where I'm looking at.
Then you got Xbox Ultimate Plus, and you're paying $25 a month for that shit.
Oh well, Sign me up.
All Ultimate Plus. Hey, you still release your Xbox and the Game Pass Ultimate for $30 a month for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's how I bought my first Xbox. What do you mean?
They
I was
still,
all over that.
it's still
That all
available too,
access,
which is
bro.
crazy.
I know it is. It's a fantastic program. I will 100% vouch for that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Works.
Joe, what are your thoughts on Xbox apparently going VR now?
Not sold. Um, you know,
I can't hear you.
well,
Hello?
I'm saying I'm not sold on it. I'm just not. I'm not. I don't mean to be a downer, but I was like, no, I don't even know why you guys are doing this. It just doesn't seem like Jubei said, like you have to create interesting VR experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't think that shifting over Indiana Jones or Avowed is going to create those interesting VR experiences. Like, because even VR itself seems to be struggling with creating interesting VR experiences. Like, it's telling that still, hands down, one of the best, everybody considers one of the best games is Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
How long ago did that come out?
I mean,
Like, there's
Like 5-6 years ago, I think.
and so in that time nothing has like taken its throne, even come close to. Now, there are a
Azura's
bunch of,
Wrath.
like,
Azura's Wrath is
There-
really good.
there's a bunch of games that are just not marketed as Half-Life Alyx because remember that's Valve's baby. But there's actually a couple games that can rival Half-Life Alyx easily.
Yeah,
Like, they
I
got
know Azura's
they got
Wrath is up there. I
multiplayer
haven't played it
shooters.
yet, but I know it's up there.
Yeah, they
again,
got a bunch of VR games. It's just they didn't get the marketing that a Half-Life Alyx did.
and I could be wrong, but my impression from the VR space is just still like Half-Life Alyx, Beat Saber, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. There was some there's some Star Wars or like Blade. I keep seeing it pop up, but like I think it's called like Blade and Sorcery or something.
Oh yeah, where you basically fight everything and you can cut off heads and you're
yeah,
like you're an overpowered Jedi or
yeah.
Sith Lord, whichever one you want to be. They got a
There's
couple of those games.
Minecraft,
I think
Yeah, I mean they got Resident Evils.
Resident Evil 4, and of course like the racing games, Flight Simulator and stuff. So like maybe for stuff like Flight Simulator would be really awesome, right? Like you really get that entire experience. But I've not been particularly sold on VR.
yeah, me either.
Just as a whole. Like I'm sure it's fine. But I think at the end of the day, to me, within the next 5 to 6 years, we won't be really talking about VR, except unless Oculus and Meta are still around doing their thing. But for the big three, who all three now seem to have dabbled in it at some point or will, Nintendo got out. They didn't do it. Sony probably won't be in it for very much longer. So sure, Xbox, take a shot at it, but I don't expect within the next 5 to 6 years they'll be doing it either.
I think
I'm looking at it like they're just a storefront for people that
I would
this
say
meta headset can work, that means other headsets can work. You know what I mean? We're just setting infrastructure where, hey, I have hey, I have VR headsets. I'm hacking to my PC, or hey, I want to get it. I have an I have this console, but I can't afford a PC, but I can afford the headset. If they make it so like you could still get that experience, so like I said, you can play your Steam library of VR games, right? Like Xbox themselves don't have to jump into that. They just have to really just allow you access to it.
Yeah, I would say I would say I don't think Xbox will be a quick exit out the VR headspace, and the only reason I say that is because they're not making the hardware. They're not doing any of the major legwork. They're slapping a portion of their OS onto an existing OS. It's minimal investment on their part.
I will say actually with the giant so we got over 6,000 VR games on Steam right now. I mean, if they are going to come out with the VR headset, it wouldn't hurt for them to put some of these VR games on Game Pass.
But the thing is, they're not coming up with a VR headset. They're just throwing their
they're throwing their OS on there. I mean, if you're going to license out a headset, you might as well license out some of these VR games like Contractor Showdown. That's like an amazing first-person co-op military shooter. You got Ghost of Terror. I mean, you got Blades and Sorcery, of course, that you mentioned. Heck, you got the racing simulator Assetto Corsa. They can honestly lease a lot of their games on Game Pass. Heck, Elder Scrolls VR.
Yeah, there's definitely games that they can do. You know, Forza.
They got I don't know about. Oh yeah, actually, that's Forza.
Yeah, a racing game. Yeah, they can do a racing game.
No, I'm saying I got it mixed up. I thought Forza. Yeah, Forza does Microsoft.
They can do Forza. They can do Halo. They can do Call of Duty. They got a bunch of different franchises they can slap VR on.
Does Flight Sim have a VR mode?
Yes, Flight Sim does have a VR mode. They have a. Oh my god. Okay, so someone made a sex VR game. Okay, but yeah, they got a bunch of VR games that's on Steam right now that a lot of people haven't heard of that actually are very good. They just don't have the marketing that Half-Life Alyx got.
Yeah, so an Avowed would have that type of marketing, or Clockwork Revolution would have that type of marketing. And those are the type of games that could easily go into. But you also got games like Resident Evil that have had VR versions, but I think they've been exclusive to PlayStation at this point. Are any of those on Steam?
Those are not on PC. Actually, yeah, those are not on PC.
Resident Evil 4 is on the Oculus.
That's on the Oculus.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4, but are 7 and 8 on the Oculus?
No,
I think 7, only on VR.
I think 7 and 8 are only on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I mean, I guess if Xbox, I guess, continues the path of what it's doing, then it's fine. If the idea is just like we're just making VR games, then sure, I guess
or porting.
I think that's perfectly
it's more
fine.
So porting than
if we're just porting a bunch of games to VR, sure. I guess I don't have any issue with that. Or I'm not down on it as much as my initial thoughts about it. If you're just making another VR headset, what's the point?
To work for Xbox, work on Xbox as well as PC.
Yeah. But I mean, Xbox is damn near PC already, so it's just sort of like we already have the PC.
I don't think they're interested in
headsets.
making a VR device. I think Xbox is more so whatever device you partake in, whether it's phone, console, PC, whatever it is, TV, whatever. They want their brand to be synonymous with your device of preference.
Yep.
That's more so what I think they're doing. They want whatever device you pick up, they want the first thing you think of to be Xbox. Like eventually, it's a lofty goal, but when you turn on your PC, they don't want you to think about Steam. They want you to think about Xbox. That's their goal with PC Game Pass and stuff like that, is they just want their brand to be synonymous with whatever your device of preference is, even if it's a PlayStation.
It certainly could work. I mean, more people making VR games, I guess, is cool because they need more of them, right? Like somebody needs to make them.
They do.
I think they just need more marketing. I think there probably are some very interesting games, but I think there's just a barrier to putting a device on your head. A
massive barrier.
That's a massive barrier. People getting motion sickness off of VRs, which is crazy.
I mean,
well,
it just takes you out of the environment that you're in. Like after a long day of work or whatever you got going on, to throw a headset on and then boot up and play.
It's like Sword Art Online. You can lay in your bed.
Yeah, I mean you can, but I'm just saying people are not thinking like that right now.
It's not seamless.
You have to change. You have to change how people think before. That device is something that people just are, commonly accepting of. Like, I just throw on a VR headset whenever, I want to have my downtime.
And there's a large part of it you still have to sell to the regular consumer.
That's what I'm saying. You have to change the way that they think. Like, I guess Apple was trying with that vision, but at $3,000,
Oh God,
That'll
that's
never
fucking
work.
ridiculous.
Like, you know what I mean? That'll never work.
yeah.
But like, you know, it,
It's
it's
just
not
like
even just
HoloLens.
yeah.
The tech is crazy. The tech is crazy. But guess who can't? You can't sell it to the ordinary consumer at no $5 fucking grand. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like you
It would
can't.
never work. Yeah.
And it's like the common applications too. Like no one's throwing on their VR headset to throw on the Netflix app and
No.
watch something on Netflix.
Yeah.
But
it was novel a little bit when they had to deal with like the NBA and stuff. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but most
But you
people
know
are like,
what?
bro, I don't care that much. I just want to watch the game.
as a parent though, the Netflix VR thing is becoming appealing because I can throw on the Bluetooth headset and watch what I want to watch, and not have to worry about
Yeah,
my
he gonna
kids
know-
seeing something I don't want them to see.
He's about to ignore his kids, man. He's about to ghost them.
No, I don't have to necessarily ignore them, but you know, like if it's like late at night and I want to watch something, I don't have to worry about them coming downstairs in the middle of a Game of Thrones scene and seeing something I don't want them to see.
Very true. But even then, that it becomes this sort of solo experience.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Like in a way that, like, you know, you have kids. For folks with families, it's like I can watch Game of Thrones while the kids are doing whatever, but like your partner, your husband, wife, or whoever, like, what the hell are they doing? Like, they can't, like, we supposed to be watching Game of Thrones together on Sundays.
Yeah.
You just watching it? Like, how do we
I
get
think if
past?
y'all were both sitting next to each other with headsets on, y'all like some fucking weirdos.
Yeah, they're like goddamn weirdos. I mean, I think they just need. Beat Saber, I thought, was really going to do it. Honestly, like, to get the average person in, you just need something that's really fun that can't be denied. It's the only reason why the Wii worked, right? Like, you strap bowling or tennis to it, and people go crazy over it. Like, it's actually crazy. I'm sure there are, and Nappy, I'm sure you can find some, but there doesn't seem to be any high profile bowling games on any of these VR headsets.
Or
That's
Nah,
kind of
because if you had a high profile bowling game, there would be so many holes in walls and shit. Because people would actually
that's
go
all.
and
Well, let's go into sports and
grab a
racing.
fucking bowling
Damn,
ball.
VR got a lot of racing games. They got golf.
I hear golf is really good, actually.
Another
Well, you
golf.
know, sports and fitness are like kind of like I feel like the dominators.
The number ones.
You
And
got-
golf was an easy transition because they already make like professional VR golf things.
You got fishing. You have deer hunting.
It would be fun.
Let's see what else you got. More cars, more go-karts. You got baseball. Okay. You got
See-
boxing.
Yeah,
still more bowling.
the Creed boxing game is pretty fun.
You got you got mutant box. You got a best forklift operator. Why is that a VR game?
Hey, people want to operate heavy machinery.
Yeah.
You even got dance. You got a dance dash, which is like Dance Dance Revolution. My God, there actually is quite a bit on here. They got a bunch of sports. You got skiing. How the hell do you ski? Volleyball.
You do
Okay,
anything you want on VR.
We got a lot of sports games on VR. There's no doubt.
You even have the
But no bowling, which is the easiest one for, I think, a regular person who's not at all
I'm pretty sure I
comfortable.
can find
Hold on. You're lying. There's no bowling VR game.
Like,
Hold on, I'm gonna type in VR bowling and let's see what pops up.
What?
There is no way.
because y'all would be throwing balls through shit if there was a bowling VR game.
Yes, there is. There is.
we lived
there's
through that
actually-
already. That'd be fine.
People
There's
too serious.
actually-
People be serious about that bowling shit, bro.
Bro, that
Actually,
Wii bowling was something.
There
serious.
is
That's all I'm saying, and you know it.
There's 8 bowling games. No, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different bowling games for VR.
Those games should be front and center.
Yeah,
The most
'cause
expensive
me.
one is Premium Bowling. It came out in 2019. Oh, this one's supposed to
A0.
Mm.
Do you remember that bowling game that came out for the N64?
Is that pro bowling?
Not
Is that what it was
bowling, like
called?
the weird one in space.
Oh, this game. you
I
can
see
play
the
with-
cover. Oh, what's it called? Is it Super Bowling?
Yeah, so they do have this VR
It's like
premium
Milo
bowling.
something, but I don't remember what the hell the rest of it is.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this right now. VR premium bowling is considered the most realistic and best bowling out of all of them.
Milo's Astro Lanes. Wow,
Oh
Jesus
my
Christ.
Wow.
I haven't thought about that in a long time. Wow.
But yeah, you do got a lot of bowling games.
Yeah,
So,
if it were me and I were making a VR sort of game that I wanted the average person to play, like you kind of got to make it silly.
Yep.
Like definitely competitive enough to just be like straight up bowling, but also like I don't know, a little fun and interesting. I just think it becomes hard. Like I mean, Pharaoh said it. Like, how do you get the average person to, instead of just grabbing a controller and turning on their TV, to put this headset over my head, put these earphones into my ear, and pick up these two little wands and like do this for the 3 hours I might have for the evening?
Yeah,
And I can't really share it with anybody else.
It is
I mean-
a commitment. I feel that.
And I own a PSVR and I played a good amount of it.
yeah, but it's tough because people still like when you're playing whatever you're playing, you still want to be able to check your phone and
Talk to people,
answer your phone. Like, yeah, there's still like other things you want to do. And I think VR headsets have to get to the point where you can link your phone to your VR headset, and you can take those calls while you're playing and stuff. Like, they have to like make it to where even though you're in VR, you're still attached to the outside world in a way that it doesn't pull you away from what you're doing in the VR. Like, if I'm like, watching something on Netflix and I take a call, I'm not pulled away from the show. Like, if I want to pause the show, I can pause it. But if I want to have a conversation while I'm watching the show, I can have a conversation while I'm watching the show. Like that. They need stuff like that in the VR app.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
or like for you guys with kids, it's like every time your kid wants you, you got to like pull the headset up and go like deal with your children, and then come back and put the headset down.
Yeah.
And like that could be 5-10 minutes at a time that you're taking this off and on and off and on to go deal with, or whoever's living in your house at the time. It doesn't have to
I
necessarily
would,
be
me
your children.
personally, I would only do VR if no one was home or it was late at night. Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it during peak hours when everyone's like running around the house and needs different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we can jump into our final topic of the day with that. I think we all got our thoughts out. And that would be, let me turn this bottom bar off because it looks ugly. There we go. And let's see. We'll be a little over 2 hours by the time we're done with today's episode. All right, Xbox ID event today where they showed a bunch of different VR games. I'm not sure if anyone watched the event.
The timing of these things. On Monday and
I thought it was on the
work hours.
30th. I thought it was tomorrow. I didn't think it was today.
Yeah, I was like, I saw nobody talking about it. I was like, did nobody know this was happening?
Yeah, I thought it was happening tomorrow, and then it was kind of interesting because it didn't. They didn't broadcast from an Xbox channel. I think
It was IGN.
IGN had the broadcast rights for the
Right.
indie event.
And I think that might have been why I also skipped it, because I'm kind of over their shit right now.
So that kind of threw it off too. I wouldn't give IGN anything the way that they treat Xbox at times. But hey,
I don't even want to give them a view, bro. I'm good. You can't spell. You cannot spell ignorant without IGN, bro. Like, that's real.
So
Terrible.
IGN is basically what started this whole Xbox tax thing. Like they're the reason behind it. I don't see why they gave them that. But anyway, they had the Xbox ID event today. I did watch it like right before I did this damn thumbnail. It was an interesting show. I think maybe like 4 games appealed to me. But did anybody else get to watch the show?
I did.
Nope.
All right. Well, Zero, what were your thoughts? What'd you think about that
Um,
monster? I'm gonna ask you first. What did you think about that Monster Hunter game?
Oh, they
Well,
show
that's
off
that.
Monster Hunter. Oh,
No, it's what's it called?
Oh, it's like Pharaoh or
wait, is that
something like
Monster
that.
Stories?
No, it's not a Monster Hunter proper. It's I'm
It's a
trying to look
Monster
up see
Hunter
if I can
type
remember the
game.
name
Is
of it.
that's the whole point of it. It's called.
Yeah.
It's called. It starts with an
Yeah,
F.
Farah.
Yeah.
Farah, you're right. Yeah. We'll see. It looks better
I
than
like
the
the
game
flying
Dauntless.
mechanics.
Yeah, which I was like at first like this reminds me a little bit of Dauntless, but it looks better. So it'll be interesting to see like how it plays and how it runs. Like any good Monster Hunter, man, it's all about the combat.
Yeah.
If your combat's good and your loop is good, then it'll be nice. So a lot of that will be, we got to see how that works.
I like the flying. I did like the flying combat. It looked somewhat interesting. But besides that
of
game,
the things that I liked, I like that Humanity is coming, which was awesome. If you've never played Humanity, it's super dope. I played on PlayStation a while ago, but really cool game. There was that Yakuza game.
That
I think
looked
like the mascot agency thing.
Different.
Yeah,
a little different.
Yeah.
Commandos.
Commando reminded me, and I need to look up them. There was an old game called I think it's Jagged Alliance. It looks almost exactly like this. Like I was like, oh, is this? I thought it was like Jagged Alliance 5 or something.
And then the game that they opened with, it looked kind of interesting.
That's the Zelda one, right? The like Astor game.
Yeah, but it's like more like musical and it's a little bit more colorful.
Although my most excited one is actually the Jackbox game, the Jackbox Naughty Party Pack.
Okay.
Oh wait,
that seems very very fun to me. Game? Apparently it's an adult version of Jackbox, whatever that means so far.
Yeah.
Oh,
They didn't give a lot of details on that one.
I mean, if it's an adult version, not a lot of details.
They didn't give a lot of details at all.
Yeah, I don't know how adult we're gonna get here, but I think I like all the Jackbox games for the most part, so like that's pretty much a day one buy for me.
Okay.
The rest of it was fine. It was just nice to see these little games coming to Xbox. So like I think that's always cool, man. Right? Like any of these could be a breakout star.
All right, so yeah. you saw the show. They did announce new pals and stuff like that for Pal World also.
Yeah, which the one who looks suspiciously like what is his name? Mind Fu. I was like, okay, it's still not exactly taking Pokemon designs, but suspiciously like Pokemon designs.
They get as close as they can.
They get as close as they legally can.
Yeah, as close as they can.
I'm about to say we have right now we have 1,025 different Pokemon. Pal only has like 120 pals, man. Come on, you gotta give them a little break.
They'll catch up. They'll catch up and have another 900 lookalikes. Just give them time.
900 lookalikes.
Conversely, Digimon has even more, and yet not a lot of Digimon and Pokemon have a lot of crossover.
Yeah, because Digimon more so leans on like dinosaurs and shit, and they get a little bit more abstract and freaky with it.
Dinosaurs and plants.
Yeah. Shout out to Agumon. But yeah, so that's what you liked. Yeah, the Monster Hunter game and the Commando game. It was like two other games that kind of looked a little bit more AA-ish, AAA-ish to me that appealed to me, but I can't think of their titles off the top of my head. 33 Immortals getting the beta that's coming out soon. That's interesting. I am interested in playing that with a group of people. Seems interesting. But beyond that, what I wanted to ask you, Zero, is how did you feel about them advertising at the Xbox ID event games that were coming to the Xbox platform that weren't necessarily coming to the Xbox console? Because I saw a lot of talk about that on Twitter before we hopped on and did this show.
What games were they? I might have
On
missed that.
they were on the sizzle reel, so I can't think of any titles for sure.
Okay.
But there was like a sizzle reel where they were showing like it said Game Pass on it, and then above where it said Game Pass, it showed the type of device it was coming on. So if it was on PC, there was a computer, and then there was like a cloud, and there was like a console one. So like depending on the game, the logos would appear. Some would have all three logos. Some would just have a PC logo. Yeah.
I understand it, although I'm just a little confused. That's like I thought the direction Xbox was going was like we are everywhere. Like there's no need to segment between PC, console, or anything. Like you can buy it on any one of these things that so long as you own it. So I don't know if maybe it's just sort of like, hey, it's just going to come to PC first, and then as time goes on, we will put it on
I think it's
console.
developer discretion. I mean, I think and for Xbox, they don't differentiate, but the developer still has to make it for those. If they only make it for PC, Xbox
Absolutely,
can't force
yeah.
it on the console. So,
and most of them are going to be for PC. It's just easier to be over there.
yeah.
So if that's the case, I didn't think about it in that way. So if that's the case, then I don't think it's an issue at all. Like Xbox is just saying like, hey man, it's an Xbox game. You put it wherever you want to put it. We don't have any interest in that. Like just so long as we get our branding on it, we're good to go.
Yeah.
I can't find any particular argument with it. I think it's fine. And it looks like most of these will probably be PC. You said they had like mobile or cloud.
Yeah.
And then
they had three different
console.
logos. So I know one was console, one was PC. I guess the third one would be cloud. So
yeah, I mean a lot of these games will probably inevitably come to Switch. Because a lot of them just look like Switch games or games like you want to play on your Switch. Or like Jackbox, right? Jackbox will be everywhere.
Indie is most supported on Switch as far as console is concerned, at the moment. Xbox gamers do support indie games, more than PlayStation at the moment. But the bulk of the sales still come from Nintendo when it comes to indie.
Yeah, which is just the way of the system, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even necessarily call it a Nintendo thing specifically. It's just like if you want to play something like Commando, that you don't need to sit down on your giant 65-inch screen to play that game. That's a perfect little Switch game you can take with you on the road and like play one or two missions and then be done with it.
Yeah.
Humanity is another one. Like Humanity is a perfect little puzzle game that you do not need a big screen for.
Yeah. But Captain Xbox, what were your thoughts on the Xbox side of the event? If you didn't watch the show, just I guess answer the question about the all games not being on Xbox.
I haven't got a chance to watch it, so this was smack dab in the middle of my workday. I just couldn't pull away, but we good. I mean, as far as I get it, I have a PC. I'm rebuilding my PC, but I don't like that. Like I don't get why they just don't want to like market shit for their console. It's like either mad late or.
I mean, I hear you, but they can't ignore that they do have PC customers, so they have to make products for them too, or provide content for them too. I should say.
All these PC games should be on the Xbox. There's no reason why they can't.
It's up to the developer though. Like Xbox can't force them. I guess they could strong arm them, but they're trying to build relationships right now before they do their world domination.
Yeah. Now we gonna see them other storefronts, bro. It's gonna happen. That's crazy.
So Xbox has a master plan that is beyond anything we can currently see at the moment, and it does involve them Disneyfying the industry for better or worse to their benefit.
Yep.
I'll stand on that. Like 40 studios is not enough in their head. They want to own the market, basically. And Nappy, what were your thoughts on the event and all that good stuff?
Well, just like Jubei, I unfortunately I didn't know they had an event today. I was too busy at work. So I'm kind of curious to see what's on there. They got a lot more PC focused tiles, which is very interesting. Wasn't expecting that. So
The
I guess
PC's on the
Microsoft
sizzle
something.
reel. Like, I don't think they marketed anything specific, like where they gave it like real time that wasn't coming
Mhm.
to like everything. But on the sizzle reel, you saw some quite a few games that were going to be in PC Game Pass and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But yeah, that was
I'm gonna
probably
say, yeah, I'm gonna say, I have to watch it to see. So
okay. Probably our quickest event, probably our quickest topic of the day, considering that this kind of was impromptu in some aspects. I mean, I know they announced it 2 weeks ago. We even shared it in the chat, so I know we knew about it, but we didn't know about it because I thought it was tomorrow. I thought it was on the 30th. So, oh, it is what it is. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you don't want to support IGN and give them views, there are some channels that co-streamed it. I watched Xbox Era stream, co-stream of the event. So shout out to them. I didn't want to watch the IGN version of the event because the IGN version, the version I saw was like 3 hours long, and I was like, I know this isn't a 3 hour event. Xbox Era, they were a little bit better. It was only an hour, so I could just like skip, the 10 minutes they talked before and the 10 minutes they talked after, and it was like a 40-minute show, so wasn't that bad. Outside of maybe hearing some commentary you might not want to hear if you just want to watch a show. But yeah, that's what I recommend. But with that being said, we can jump right into our outros.
all right.
And I am going to let Jubei do his outro first, since I can hear little man making his
All right.
contributions to the show. So, Jubei, give us your outro. What do you be playing and what you got going on this week?
Hopefully I can get some actual gaming in this week in between work. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna check out another Crab's Treasure or whatever the hell that is.
The game looks fantastic.
Right. So yeah, we're gonna see what that shit's about. Of course, Madden at some point. And yeah, I'm excited for Hellblade this month, technically now.
Okay. Well, no, you still got 2 more days. You got one more full day until you're in May. So don't claim victory yet. Nappy, where can people find you, and what will you be playing / reviewing?
Like I said, this week, big one, Rainbow 2 controller's coming out. So you get to see my review on that. It's actually a decent controller, a solid controller for PC. And if you need a pro controller for your Xbox that kind of uses your Xbox controller to mirror it and get extra features, this isn't really a bad option. It's quality, well built controller. As far as the mobile scene, I have been diving heavily into the mobile scene. Um, it's I do see the future in it. I do. There is a lot of people who play it. I ran into a lot of people outside the country that is heavily into the mobile scene. So I just wonder if the U.S. is one of the very few countries where we're like we got the premium game and we don't do mobile gaming. Yeah, there's people
Yeah,
that
we're
are
a little
poor that don't
snobby.
have. Yeah, there's a lot of people who got that don't got us that got the benefits like we do. We take video game for granted. So many people they can only get it through phones. So interested in meeting a new community. And also FlyDigi Apex 4 controller, their latest and greatest flagship controller.
Do that screen flash
Got
thing. 'Cause I saw
oh
the screen thing earlier. That was kind of
yeah,
cool.
screen it has a built-in screen. It's an upgrade from the Apex 3. So the dark one's the Apex 3. This is the new one, the Apex 4.
Okay.
So
If you want to know more
second
about that
review.
screen, you gotta watch the review so you can see what it does.
Yes. There seems to be a lot of controllers that are coming out with screens. This is like the fourth controller that has like a LED screen that I've seen. I don't know if I'm going to keep on buying every single controller with LED screen. If you subscribe to my channel, give me a reason to review them. Of course, I will definitely do it. But so far, this controller is really good. Got a little heft to it. Had the feedback triggers, the DualSense feature, except you can actually mod it on a lot of your games. So yeah, look forward to that. And again, just diving into PC and mobile gaming. It's pretty interesting, to say the least.
All right. So that's it. Last but not least, Zero, where can people find you? More importantly, where can they find us? And what will you be playing this week?
I'm gonna finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? Right?
You hope.
I hope.
It's a challenge.
Although Cinco de Mayo is coming up this week, and it's like the weather's supposed to be nice, so.
Oh, it's not tacos.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, Canelo's fighting this weekend. That means it's Cinco de Mayo. It's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. But I'm gonna do my best here. But if not that, definitely Balatro. Please get it, man. Like, this game is just so fun. It's so fun. And Unicorn Overlord. But you can, of course, if you just want to see me or join me or watch me play these games, 0.exe or 0x386, pretty much anywhere you like to play video games, I'll be there, including Xbox now. So I can do all three. But more importantly, you can find us, Vitamin G Podcast, pretty much everywhere you listen to all of your favorite podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, or Google Music, YouTube Music. Anywhere you listen to somebody else, chances are we'll be there. So thank you for listening to us. Give us a like, comment, subscribe. You don't have to, but you decided to listen to us, so we will always appreciate that. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
See you next time.
All right. See ya.
Thank you everyone for getting your weekly dose of that vitamin G. We are out. Peace.
Hey.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All